Hey guys, so I'm back with Timmy Failure, and I have great news. Timmy Failure is available on Sora, which is what Celeste was showing us this morning in morning meeting. So you guys can go right on there. It's on Clever, and you can get your own e-copy of this book. So you can read along with me when I'm doing the read aloud. You can read ahead if you promise not to give anything away. Excellent news. So go check that out after this read aloud. We are on chapter 13, but at the end of chapter 12, a very bad thing happened. Maybe you'll remember when you see the note that Timmy made, Timmy dead. The failure mobile, his mom's Segway, gone. That's not good. Let's see what happens. Chapter 13, the small business community is under siege. It's hard to focus on industrial sabotage when you're sitting at a parent-teacher conference. But this much I know. Somebody, somewhere, needed Total Failure Incorporated stopped. Our growing caseload was simply too much of a threat. So to stop us, they seized my mode of transportation. The obvious move is to set up a security perimeter around the neighborhood and begin questioning witnesses. But I cannot, because I am bookended by two amateurs who have never run a business. To my left is my mother, who made me get in the car as soon as I got back from Max Hodges' house. To my right is old man Crocus. All I can think as he yaps is that the man has been teaching too long. Yap, 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 yap. I say that because for the first time in his 150-year career, he faces the very real possibility that he will not advance all of his students to the next grade. I suppose here would be a good place to tell you about the student who threatens that streak. Hello? It's Timmy, yeah. It's moments like this when I patiently wait for my mother to impress me with a spirited defense of her son. Maybe throw around some papers, kick over a chair, set fire to a desk. Act of an impressive mom. Instead, she nods. For a woman who is one day going to be begging me for a job, she's doing a miserable job of impressing me. So for now, I have to depend on my business partner, who I asked to do some reconnaissance in my absence. That means scoping out the scene of the crime and gathering information in a discreet way that does not draw attention. It does not mean that which I found him doing when I returned home. Total. Chapter 14. Orange juice, shaken, not stirred. I am pacing Rollo Tukis's room like a man possessed. Because when you're a detective, you cannot be the victim of an unsolved crime. It is like a dentist with missing teeth, or a gardener with dead flowers. And dead is what I will be if my mother finds out the failure mobile is gone. So I hatch a plan to keep my mother from knowing. On paper, it looks like this. Lie, 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 and lie. But I can't focus because Rollo's head is rattling back and forth like a dashboard bobblehead. It's something that happens the night before every test. Pre-test, bobblehead, Rollo. He's especially nervous tonight because he did not do well on his last test, the group test. And that was because someone in the group made the Scantron form look like this. If you look carefully, you can see that the bubbles make the name Tim. I had to do it. If Old Man Crocus was gonna pair me with you-know-who, I had no choice but to throw myself upon the gears of the machinery and make the whole wretched process come to a halt. Naturally, Rollo didn't see it that way. His vision is too narrow. But not me. I see the big picture. And I know that sometimes you just have to take one for the team. One day he'll thank me for that, but not tonight. Tonight the poor kid's head is shaking like the tail of an espresso-sipping rattlesnake. Which reminds me, one day I will think far enough ahead to tie one of the cartons of orange juice I drink from every morning to Rolo's head. It says, shake well before pouring. That would look like this. And that's why I don't worry when I have a bad string of luck as a detective. I know I could always be an inventor. Chapter 15, please don't squeeze the detective. This one starts with kind of a quote by Timmy Failure. Man's inhumanity to man is a difficult thing to behold. I still must get to work. So I have a new ride. I call it the Totalmobile. My business partner believes it is demeaning. I believe he's lucky to be employed. I wrote greatness on the side so that when people see us, they will know that we are great. But that greatness did not prepare me for what I would see at the Weber residence. For today, it is the scene of total devastation, all marred by the remnants of someone inhumane, someone determined, someone whose weapon of choice comes in packs of 6, 12, and 20. If you are squeamish, look away. Toilet paper. It is everywhere. And much of it hangs from the tops of trees, which tells me that these criminals were adept tree climbers. That's a major clue, and I make a note of it in my log. Work of monkeys? I knock on the Weber's door. Jimmy Weber answers. He's in my grade. How's the family holding up? I ask. Fine, Jimmy says. It's not the first TP job we've ever seen. TP, I repeat to myself. I make another note in my log. TP, tiny people? Toilet paper, right? I asked Jimmy for a complete list of his enemies. Enemies? He says. I don't have any. Everyone has them, I tell him. Oh, really? I'm friends with everyone. People in my class, people on my soccer team, people that work with me on the school paper. Bingo. I want a complete list of all the stories you've written, I tell him. Stories? He asks. For the paper, I say. Oh, I don't really write stories. I just write what they're serving in the cafeteria this week. Why does that matter? I shake my head in disbelief. I try to remind myself that not everyone's a detective. Listen, kid, I say. Someone doesn't want that information out there. Who? He asks. I point to the hanging toilet paper. Someone who doesn't play games. I go to hand him my card. Hey, Timmy, thanks, but I don't need your help anymore. What are you talking about? I say. You called the hotline. Yeah, over an hour ago. You took a while to show up. It's true. I was late. Total fell asleep in front of my bedroom door, and I couldn't get out, which was very unprofessional on Total's part. Yeah, well, I'm here now, and I'm on the case, I tell him. Sorry, he says, but I hired another detective. Don't say the name, 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 don't say the name. Corinna. He says the name. She who must not be named. Next time we'll start with chapter 16. It's called The Chapter I Was Hoping to Put Off, the one about the beast. See you next time, guys.